It's a nice Batman shirt there, Ed.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's a nice looking Superman shirt you got there.
Oh, yeah.
Are we
Thanks.
gonna talk about Batman v Superman, which comes out this week?
Nah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Working Title Productions. My name's Ben, his name is Ed, and this week we are not talking about Batman v Superman. We'll talk about that next week once we've actually seen the film. What we're talking about today...
Hold on, yeah. First of all, we've got a new member of the cast. I would like to introduce to you all.
Oh.
Plush Kylo Ren.
He's adorable.
Look at him. Look at that evil Knight of Ren mastery. Ben,
Yes.
take off that mask. You don't need it. What do you think you'll see?
What do you think?
The face of my son. Alright, and so he's going to sit there in between us. Hopefully.
Every show?
Actually, no, let's put him up
Oh,
there.
that's a good idea.
So that he's not blocked by the...
Look
by
at him,
this-
he's just staring down on us now.
Yes. I like that. I like this a lot. Hold on, let me center him. Oh yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Imagine if he just falls down. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Anyway, so what are we talking about?
We're going to talk about sequels to films and when they work, like when it seems like a good idea and when they're completely unnecessary. Because for those of you who don't know, just a couple of days ago, it was announced that Indiana Jones 5 is coming out in 2019. And the person who's playing Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford, who is currently 77, I believe, which means if they start filming next year, just being optimistic, that's 78, and then he'll be 80 when the film comes out, which is just way too old. Like, you can't possibly do that. You can't possibly be an action star at the age of 80. It's just far too physically demanding. But look, I don't know about you, Ed, but personally, like, I feel like this is just a terrible, terrible idea.
Yep.
Like, if they really wanted to do an Indiana Jones 5, I'm okay. Like, do a passing of the torch style, like Indiana Jones, and then flashback to young Indiana Jones, and you have a younger actor playing him, and then it sort of like hops back and forwards between old Indy and young Indy. The same way they were sort of setting up for River Phoenix to take over in number 3 before
Last Crusade.
before he tragically passed. Find another actor, try it again, set him up. But no, it's as far as we know so far, it's just Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones 5. Like, what, are they going to take him to the 60s now and have him fight? Can't even fight James Dean.
Russians.
James Dean was dead in the 60s. Russians, maybe? He's Indiana Jones. He fights Nazis, not aliens.
And yeah, it's just annoying because, like, when was the last time Steven Spielberg made a good blockbuster? Like, he makes good, kind of smaller films these days. Like, he made Bridge of Spies last year.
Does Super 8 count? Nah, that wasn't even that good.
But, like, in terms of, like, blockbusters, he's kind of, like, moved on for that. And yeah, like, his films generally, like, aren't these, like, big spectacles like they once were, maybe.
Exactly. And then also on that point, it's funny because I just remembered, like, I'm talking about another actor taking over from Harrison Ford, but then Die Hard 6 is also in development, and the way I just pitched Indiana Jones is exactly what they're trying to do with Die Hard. They, like, want to go back and tell his origin story. It's going to be like Die Hard Origins.
Who?
So this is like 10
But we
years
don't know
before
who's
the
playing
first
John
one.
McClane?
Like, I think Bruce Willis is returning for it, but then there'll be a younger actor. But, like, here's the weird thing. Like, the difference between the way we'd want that to work with Indiana Jones, where it's just like a continuation of the story and it's almost Bond-esque in the way that you just reboot it. In Die Hard, they want to go back to before the original Die Hard film, which totally ruins the beauty of the original Die Hard film, in which, like, Die Hard Origins, Die Hard 1 is the Die Hard Origins. He's just a dude that happened to be there where a couple of robbers pretending to be terrorists showed up, and he kicks all of their asses. He's the underdog. If you give him a backstory to that, that makes it far less special when it happens in Die Hard 1. And so that just sort of taints that original Die Hard experience. So if you want to go back and tell more Die Hard stories with a younger actor, that's fine. But the way they're approaching it with Die Hard just kind of ruins the general theme that we've had, and that's like, any man can do anything.
Yeah, let's linger on Die Hard for a second. I don't know about you, but like, I think I'm starting to expect a lot more from my action movies these days.
Yeah,
definitely. Like, the days of like your cliche like crime, military, action, thriller like Die Hard, they're kind of behind us. Like,
well, I wouldn't say they're behind us. There's still a place for them.
Yeah, I suppose
but
so.
It is a diminishing place.
But they no longer make as much money, and they're no longer as good as they once were. And like,
that's because the story's been told.
Like,
so
you look at your Die Hards, like your Transporters, your Hitmans.
Whoa! Die Hard is on a completely another level to Transporter.
I'm talking about the recent Die Hard movies.
Oh right, yeah. Well,
like
Transporter is so far above
like
the
things
recent
in like the
Die Hard
2000s,
films.
things in like the 2000s, like your Triple X's and like your London Has Fallen and like your Olympus Has Fallen, and then White House Down, which was the exact same movie as Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen was a good movie though. White House Down, no.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, like I want like something else in my action movies that's like,
you want just a little bit smarter. Like,
yeah,
we're not talking about an academic film.
Yeah, exactly.
But just something less cliched. Get creative.
Yeah, like Red is an awesome movie.
Yeah.
And so is Red 2. They're both like fantastic movies because like they take that like action movie formula and then they just like mess with it. And
don't tell the same story. Just like, it's not that hard to create something new. Yeah. You should not be afraid to.
Yeah, like they're turning things that would be a problem in a normal action movie by having old actors and making it the premise of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And it works. And that had Bruce Willis in it.
Bruce Willis was leading that.
Yeah.
And he's great. Probably Bruce Willis's best movie.
Careful.
Like, it's like that and Looper are probably his best movies of the last.
Sixth Sense, the original Die Hard.
The last decade, I'm saying, but not like of all time.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like.
I'm saying like of like recent years.
I thought you meant like his entire career.
No,
Bruce Willis has been in some good movies.
No. And then we're saying like see like the not even resurgence, like just the proliferation of comic book movies. Yeah. And those are just like better than your Die Hards.
Yeah.
And
it's because they're getting
Transporters. Like Captain America: Winter Soldier. Best action movie, probably the 2010 so far.
Yeah. Well,
maybe like Mad Max, but like, it's still like.
No, probably Captain America: The Winter Soldier is probably just a little. Actually, no, sorry, like Mad Max more.
Yeah,
but I have some.
I like Captain America more. Yeah. You like Mad Max more.
Yeah.
They're both great movies. They're both great action movies. And
while we're on Mad Max, just quickly, because that is a film that after 30 years of just being a dormant franchise, you know, this is George Miller's third attempt to get it off the ground.
You tell me.
Yeah, I think it's his third attempt with his third choice leading actor. He didn't even write a script for them. He didn't even write a script for the movie. He just had thousands of storyboards and made his story around those storyboards.
Well, that's because the movie doesn't have a script.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it has a story. It tells a story without a script, and from the outside looking in, before the movie was made, it'd be so easy to say, "You're insane, George. Don't do it."
George is insane.
Yes, but the thing is that he was an insane genius, as we now know. With the benefit of hindsight, we know that he's a genius. So, it's a really fine line between you're a genius for reviving this franchise after all these years doing whatever you did, and you're an idiot, why would you even bother reviving this franchise? It's so easy to just sort of fall either side, and it's sort of difficult. How do you decide whether rebooting one franchise is a good idea and whether rebooting one franchise is not? Because I kind of don't. I don't want a Die Hard 6. I don't know how you can save the Die Hard franchise. Like, I hope there's someone out there who knows how to do it. Because, like...
Apparently Max Landis is a good Die Hard idea.
Oh, that'd be so... I trust him. I'd like to hear his pitch. But, personally, I can't think of how you would save the Die Hard franchise. So I just want to tuck it away. We still have the first 3 films. Let's just be happy that we had a Die Hard franchise. Ignore 5... I didn't mind 4. I actually kind of liked 4. But you can ignore 4 if you want. As opposed to the Mad Max franchise, which suddenly we're going to get 3 more movies to. And I'm like, oh yeah, I trust George Miller. Even though he is already 80. Yeah, why not? Make 3 more films. Sure.
And...
It's a difficult one to decipher.
I think what it comes down to is that does someone have a great idea for it? Like, I don't think Steven Spielberg... Like, okay, I don't know Steven Spielberg personally, but something tells me he doesn't want to make another Indiana Jones movie. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think the studio wants another Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I haven't checked that up, but look, it wouldn't surprise me if you're right.
Well, I don't think.
Don't take our word on this.
Warner Brothers made Mad Max.
Oh yeah, they made Mad Max. I thought you were going to say Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I don't think Warner Brothers necessarily want another Mad Max film, but
they rejected.
But I think George Miller had the idea and had that passion. So I think if you've got someone like good old Georgie behind it, then like
Australians,
then I think that then yeah, that movie is something that will like turn out okay. And you look at like other franchises like Kick-Ass, who had like a fantastic
great
first movie, and did have a second story to tell, but you didn't have like the creative force returning for it in a form like Matthew Vaughn and Mark Miller.
Yeah, no Matt Vaughn. Oh, and Mark Miller. You're right. So, well, is it a question?
Well, they were made at the same time.
Does it then come down
like
to perhaps
Kick-Ass the movie is only based off the idea of the comic book.
Yeah,
because the comic book wasn't written.
Adaptation.
The comic book wasn't written when Kick-Ass was made.
Yeah,
they were made at the same time, which is why the comic book is really different.
Yeah, it's a really interesting story, that one, actually.
It really is. But yeah, like Matthew Vaughn still did like some stuff on Kick-Ass too. Like he produced it and stuff, but like
it's not the same.
He wasn't like there as much as he was for the first movie.
Yeah, and so then does it become a question of who's the director of your project, or perhaps is it the script? Have you got to just? Is it just the tryout saying with this script and this director, this can be a good movie? Yes, but if you get any good script and any good director, you can make any good movie. So is it literally just a, take it as it comes, trial by error sort of thing? Have we just sort of got to sit through these bad sequels and hope for the good ones?
Yeah, no, I think just like as long as there's like a story to be told and someone who can tell the story, then like chances are that sequel do well.
You'd hope so.
That's the idea.
That was the idea with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Star Wars. A Star Wars story.
Well, so, even though they didn't have the right story and they didn't have the right person.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
well, technically they had the right story.
At the time, yeah,
they had the story of Anakin Skywalker. That's not the point. Can we not go down the Star Wars rabbit hole?
Yeah, well, it's a pretty deep hole.
That's what I'm saying. Let's just not talk about it.
We'd be here for the next hour. All right. New rule: no Star Wars. No, I'm kidding. We would never do that. We could never abandon Star Wars. You can't chuck him with no.
I'm sorry, Kylo. It's time to go.
But yeah, are you actually gonna do it?
I don't know, because I can't just put him back up.
No. Put him back up? Oh. It's alright. This gives me time to think about what I was going to say. I mean, they were able to save the Star Wars franchise, weren't they? So,
Yeah.
like, you know, like Episode 3 ended, and for a long time there, I just wanted
And it was fantastic, wasn't it?
Well, we liked it. We're going to get two of our friends
Definitely want James on
who
it.
hate Star Wars Episode 3, because we like Episode 3.
And we're going to have a debate.
Well, yeah, we like... No, well, I love it, nostalgically. I can see the faults. They're quite evident, but I still love it. It's a piece of nostalgia. That'll happen at some point.
I just like the movie, like of course it has like some like super weak points, like
Most of those just sort of solved
Hayden
the first two films.
Hayden Christensen's acting.
Oh my god! I saw
He's like
a
really bad.
I saw a movie the other day. Right, it's called American Heist. He didn't do a bad job acting in that movie. He was actually all right. But ironically, he was in another forced romance, which was detracting from the relationship with the older brother figure that he had in his life, which would have been the focus. I'm like, wow.
Hayden Christensen's
this
like
is just
visually cool as Anakin, but like
oh yeah,
his lines just suck.
well yeah. Who wrote the lines?
George Lucas.
George Lucas.
But like
he's like, I mean, he's
like
not a world
I was
class
watching that movie. We watched all of the movies before Episode 7 came out, and
I didn't.
I know you didn't watch all of them, but I did because I actually hosted the marathon.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was watching Episode 3, and like everyone around me was just like groaning and just like hating on it, and I was just like watching it, and I was like, there are some really cool things in this movie. Like
Yeah.
my favorite, like
It's,
one of my favorite shots in like the entire Star Wars franchise is the shot where like Anakin and the 501st take the Jedi Temple.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Order 66.
I freaking love that shot.
That is f***ing amazing. We're gonna save this for another day.
So good.
We will save this for another
And
day.
then,
We'll
like-
talk Episode 3.
And Ewan
Is
Mc-
it good?
And Ewan McGregor is just like
Oh, he's amazing.
he's just king.
The
In
emo-
that.
he gets all the emotional
So
heartbeats right.
good.
Even with that awful script, he gets all the emotional heartbeats right.
Have you seen that video?
Like, and I'm not.
And
We're
it-
not
and
saying
it's
that
like-
Hayden
and
Christensen
it's-
is a world class actor.
and it's called-
All I'm trying to say is that he's not a bad actor.
And it's called Anakin Hates Sand.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's just like Padme, and it's like the very start of the Battle of Mustafar.
yeah, it's like
And
this
it's just like-
square
but it's-
block of sand, which
Sand
is
just
being
like
photoshopped
photoshopped
on the face.
onto
Yeah,
Padme's face and then Obi-Wan's face.
I don't like
So
sand.
good. It's cool.
Alright.
It's rough. Anakin's everywhere.
we'd steer this ship back on track.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Alrighty, so Edward, what sequels do you want to see that haven't been made yet? Like, for example, no. Do you want
Kingsman.
Kingsman 2? Yeah, well, that is coming. Like,
Yeah, but I just
knows?
want Matthew Vaughn to direct it, which he
Oh.
probably won't. I want to get X-Men Origins Wolverine too.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
yeah,
but it's
actually,
okay. It's
that
okay.
that is something I literally just thought about before you said
We are
it.
getting Wolverine.
And that's yeah, we are
3?
getting Wolverine 3.
I think we
We had X-Men Origins, no number. The Wolverine, no number. Wolverine 3.
It won't be called Wolverine 3. It'll
Probably not.
probably be called Old Man Wolverine.
Doesn't have the same
as
ring to it as
opposed to Old Man Logan.
Logan.
They've got to call it Old Man Logan. Unless they call it Wolverine Old Man Logan.
I would, yeah, that's what I would call it. But now that we're on the X-Men franchise, because I did want to bring this up, the X-Men franchise has gone through what 7 movies now? Hang on, original trilogy, that, and that. Yeah, 6, 7 if you include the Wolverine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Deadpool.
and Deadpool 8. Okay, so we've got 8 films in the X-Men franchise, 9 when Apocalypse comes out in what 2 months' time, 3 months' time.
It comes out May, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm keen.
Bit under 3 months. So that franchise has been going for ages. It's gone through a softcore reboot. When will the X-Men franchise have gone on for too long? Where do we draw the line about where to stop the X-Men franchise?
I honestly think Apocalypse should be the last one.
Really?
In terms of big group X-Men outings. I'm really happy. I'm
you
happy
want
for them to
just all go
tell
off and do solo
tell little
stories?
solo stories. Like, I would love like a Colossus Kitty Pryde team up movie. I would live for that. And then we can get like X-Force stuff and like.
So you want a story that absolutely obliterates the X-Men universe so hard that just no one teams back together anymore.
I don't need that to be a story reason for it.
They just all go off and do
Yeah, I
their
just
own
want
thing.
to do their own
So
thing.
like
I
the
would
opposite
love.
of the MCU.
I would love a Magneto solo movie.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope actually.
Like not even having like present time wherever they are now. Like, don't even have it like 90s. Like, have him like go back to like before X-Men First Class, where he's hunting down Nazis.
Yeah, but he's like really weak. He hasn't even developed his powers. It's like, then again, actually, that'd be a
No,
good
no,
thing.
not too far.
Because then you could
in
really
in front of X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
Not too far.
Yeah.
Behind, but like right before it.
Okay.
Like, you know how like in
do
X-Men
that.
First Class we see like Argentina and he's like hunting down like the
Yeah.
bartenders, the people who like know Kevin Bacon's character whose name escapes me.
Oh, look, I can't remember it either. I know the scene.
But like gives us like more of it. Just like him just like hunting old Nazis. That's cool.
I'm down for that,
that'd
actually.
That'd be sick.
And because he doesn't have all of his insane powers like he does in Apocalypse and Days of Future Past, you really focus on the character instead. So you know you're going to get a nice refined story.
I keep forgetting that Magneto only really trained his powers in First Class.
Yeah. Like, he struggles to turn a satellite dish in that movie.
Yeah.
And in Days of Future
just,
Past,
like,
lifts the stadium and flies.
Yeah.
Oh no, and it gets better. Rips apart rail tracks and splits them at a tiny level, like millimeter thin level, to create new wiring inside of multiple robots. Like, how good is he at engineering to be able to do that?
Yeah, there's a decent gap between the two movies though, so that's fine.
Yeah, and it's science fiction as well, so I'll let it go.
And then like, I'd like to see like Beast and Charles go on adventures and stuff.
Okay,
that'd be fun. Just little things like that. Like, I think movies are cool, but like they are getting a little stale. Like, I rewatched Days of Future Past and like, and I watched the Road Cut, which was a mistake because Road Cut's not as good as the final cut.
Yeah, there's a reason. Bryan Singer's theatrical releases are always his best releases. He always makes sure to make the best version of his films.
Yeah. And mostly because they just like completely stuff up Iceman in the Road Cut, which is annoying. Iceman solo film, make that happen.
Maybe. I don't know that there's an audience for it.
I freaking love Iceman.
I know you do. For like, yeah,
it's so cool.
If you look, you write the script, you pitch it to Singer, he'll pitch it to the studio execs, and it'll get made.
Sweet. Too easy.
That's how you do it, guys. Get creative. What haven't we covered yet?
We were talking about we were talking about like what movies we would like to see sequels to.
Oh yeah, like there was talk for a long time. Well, not a long time. There was some talk about Inception 2, but then that personally...
Oh, that's what I need to mention. Oh, when there's a massive time gap in between movies coming out, don't make the same movie you made in the 80s.
Yes.
Because it won't work. Ghostbusters.
That's what we didn't talk about. Ghostbusters.
Because like, the audience is so different these days. You can't just make the same movie. You need to update it for like the modern audience.
We don't know that they're making the same movie, but it is how they're marketing the film, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, they're marketing it as like a nostalgia movie with new actors in it.
Yeah, which is wrong.
Yeah,
like, got nothing. We said it last week, and we'll say it again. We got nothing against casting a bunch of female lead actors. That's fine. We're all for getting creative with stories, but they're marketing it as the same story with different genders. Like, just because they happen to be female, not male, doesn't make it a different movie. Like, it doesn't matter at all. You got to tell a different story. And yeah, you're right. Like, I'm hating this Ghostbusters marketing campaign. I'm not excited for Ghostbusters at all.
Well, I said last week I'm not a Ghostbusters fan in general, so like it doesn't really impact me. Yeah, like, I wasn't surprised that I disliked the trailer. That song, like, as bad as the trailer was, I kind of did like. I can't even remember what song was in it. The Ghostbusters song. Oh yeah. It's awesome. See, even then, the Ghostbusters theme's overrated. Alright, Ed. I mean, I care more about other things, so I'm not going to get mad about this. I'll just get mad at animals instead. Yeah. So, yeah. I think that covers just about everything we've wanted to talk about. Is there anything... Inception. We can edit this. It's going to need some editing. So, like, just a little bit. Just a little. Inception is a film that people wanted a sequel to for a while, but what sequel would you even tell to Inception? Like, new cast characters. Maybe. That's the only way I would do it. Like, there are Okay. Well, let me rephrase. I wouldn't bring Leo back.
Yeah, exactly, because his story was told.
I'd bring Tom Hardy and JGL.
Yeah,
back
because even though they don't like each other, their chemistry is great.
Yeah, and
that would be interesting.
Ellen Page could probably come back as well. She was cool.
I'm okay with that.
And those were the main people in it. Like I wouldn't bring everyone else whose names I can't remember.
I remember once I had this great idea for an Inception sequel.
No, you just forgot.
And then I had it, and I was like in the shower. I was like, "That's a great idea," and then I hopped out of the shower, and I'd already forgotten what the idea was, and it's never come back to me since.
Well,
all I remember is that I had this great idea for an Inception film, or maybe not even a movie, maybe just like a TV show, because it was. I think I might have been Watch Mojo, and I don't like quoting Watch Mojo, but they did have this one idea about making it a TV show.
Inception.
Like a sequel to the film, which is
but already you've got budget problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Already it doesn't work.
Well, I mean, you don't need that much of a budget to tell an Inception story, dude. Nolan had a budget doesn't mean you need a budget. Like that film, just because you've got buildings that have been bent over.
Yeah, I suppose you don't need to redo that scene. That was
and I'd have a feeling that a lot of that budget just went to paying Leo.
No, I reckon Leo took a massive cut on that.
Well, it was 2010, I suppose. He is the highest paid actor these days, but back then I don't know if he was.
But he's also not a douchebag. Like he wouldn't take his full salary for a movie like Inception or a movie like Django Unchained.
Yeah, no, definitely not for Unchained.
Yeah,
I think he might have for Inception though. Like he is the main character.
Yeah. I don't know.
In a blockbuster film.
I don't know.
Might have been released in November, but it was a blockbuster budget.
I know. You can tell. And that's why a TV show would work.
You know what else? It's a good movie. That's crazy, right?
It's alright. I'm kidding. I freaking love
Inception's amazing. But yeah, no, like, I wouldn't tell a sequel to Inception. I don't know that Inception needs a sequel. And fortunately enough, that's all in the hands of Christopher Nolan, who knows that it doesn't need a sequel, and he's left that. He told that story. Like he does with
all of his movies, except for Batman.
Yeah. Well, even that he's left behind now.
Well, yeah.
He's sort of... Is he even involved in the DCEU?
He executive produced Man of Steel.
That doesn't count.
That's it.
That doesn't. Man of Steel was Man of Steel.
He's not listed on Batman vs Superman.
There you go. So he well and truly, once he's told a story, he leaves it. That's it. He's happy. It's done. Move on. Which is what a lot of studios which have control over most franchises tend to do. They will just keep going at it forever. And sometimes it works, but a lot of the time it just doesn't. So I think we have covered everything now.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway.
I can't think of anything else.
Alrighty. Well, that's it for us for this week. I really shouldn't have done that clap. It's going to kill the microphone. Thank you so much for watching us this week. My name is Ben. His name is Ed. His name is Kylo Ren.
His name's also Ben, though.
Yes, his name is Ben.
Spoilers for Star Wars Force Awakens.
But you don't know what his last name is. That's okay. Alrighty. So, if you want to follow Ed on Twitter, Ed, where can people find you on Twitter?
I am at Mr. Spaghetti22.
And you can follow me on Twitter at BenjWaters01. B-E-N-J. Water with an S on the end. Maybe we should put the subtitles down at the bottom now.
I put all these in the description.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's almost... Do you not watch the videos, Ben?
I watch the videos, I just don't check the descriptions.
And then on Facebook, we are facebook.com/workingtitle YouTube.
Certainly are. Alrighty. Well, I think that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope you have a good day. See you later.